Cars from movies give a nostalgic feeling when you watch them, especially the getaways and stunts performed with these cars. It's possible that some of these features shown in each automobile differ from those seen in actual cars. These are the cars from your favorite movie Part 2. Two female leads in the film Thelma and Louise embarked on an adventure in a legendary convertible and eventually became wanted fugitives. The film from 1991 has become a cinematic legend because of its third lead, the 1966 Ford Thunderbird, in addition to Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis's outstanding performances. 1966 Ford Thunderbird, $71,500 cost of car today, from the movie Thelma and Louise. Two ladies escape the law in Thelma and Louise by driving a 1966 Ford Thunderbird and shooting a guy who tries to attack Thelma when they are visiting a fishing camp. This 1966 Ford Thunderbird is a major character during the whole trip. The movie's pivotal sequence involving this convertible is noteworthy not for the vehicle's mechanical prowess, but rather for what it represents. Legendary car sequences usually include extremely fast chases, and in this one, Thelma and Louise, encircled by police at the edge of the Grand Canyon, decide they would sooner die than give up. Thelma finally replies, "Keep going," as they blast off the cliff in their Thunderbird, realizing there is no way out. Because it is more convenient to take pictures of the performers in convertibles, which are frequently seen in television and cinema, they chose this particular vehicle for the film. Was the Thunderbird immortalized by the movie, or the other way around? Although it is up for dispute, the reality is that this vehicle has come to represent both freedom and vintage American automobiles. 1966 Ford Thunderbird specifications. In 1966, Ford offered two alternative engines for the Thunderbird. The standard 2-barrel carburetor was paired with the 3.9-liter FE V8, which generated 275 horsepower. At 2,800 RPM, it produced 427 pound-feet of torque, and at 4,600 RPM, 315 horsepower. The 4.2-liter FE V8 with 345 horsepower was the option with the highest degree of performance. The 428 generated 462 feet-pound of torque at 2,800 RPM. A C6 dual-range, 3-speed automatic gearbox is used in the 428 equipped T-Bird. An automated transmission with 3 speeds was available for the 390 T-Bird. There were longitudinal leaf springs at the back and an independent ball joint and coil spring type for the front suspension. The ratio of the rear high-point differential, which was semi-floating axle type, was 3:1. The rear wheels feature 11 332-inch drum brakes, while the front wheels have 11.8-inch disc brakes. The automobile has two exhaust systems with resonators and built-in power steering. A centrifugal water pump equipped with a cross-flow radiator provided cooling. The 1966 Thunderbird had a wheelbase of 113 inches and was 205.4 inches long by 77.3 inches wide by 52.5 inches height. There were 61 inches of front track width and 60 inches of rear track width. Tire dimensions for the T-Bird were 8.15 by 15 inches. The weight of the convertible was 4,692 pounds, whereas the normal hardtop vehicle was 4,582 pounds. 1970 Dodge Charger RT, $101,176 cost of car today, from the movie The Fast and the Furious. When the first Fast and Furious movie debuted in cinemas in 2001, customized import vehicles were all the rage, and it appeared like muscle cars could finally be able to release their hold on America's automotive spirit. However, the vehicle that became iconic when that first film was released was the ugly 1970 Dodge Charger, which even terrified Dominic Toretto to drive. Still in vogue are muscle vehicles. For Fast and Furious, the recognizable black Charger is brought back 8 years later. In the fourth film, Vin Diesel's character Dom is living in exile in Central America until his girlfriend Letty, Michelle Rodriguez, restores the destroyed Charger for him. The Fast and Furious film car department actually had to construct 6 Chargers in order to do all of the stunts. Hollywood has been wrecking 1968 to 1970 Chargers for the past 40 years, which has made them uncommon and pricey. It was difficult enough to locate Chargers to buy, and the team sometimes had to make do with vehicles that were in terrible shape. A 528 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine that was actually blown was used in the construction of one Charger. To keep things simple though, the 3 stunt vehicles were really driven by small block Chevy crate engines. And one Charger was really an engine-free buck design for stage usage, with the scenery added in post-production so that players could pretend to drive. There are some differences between the Charger's look in the previous movie and this one. Initially, the supercharger is no longer fastened to the hood. Instead, it nestles down through a hole in it. Additionally, newer, Larger diameter tires and wheels were installed. Out of the 4 Chargers that have survived and are in storage, one was blown up and another crashed. 1970 Dodge Charger portrayed specifications. According to its engine specifications, the Dodge Charger is equipped with a BDS blower intake and a supercharged Chrysler 426 Hemi V8 engine. Moreover, it runs on Castrol lubrication and boasts BDS electronic fuel injection, a BDS 971 root-style blower, and Sunoco racing fuel. Regarding the Dodge Charger's drivetrain, Chrysler 727 3-speed automatic transmission changer, cone, move, Winters, drive shaft, overall, Dana 60 for the rear axle headers, Headman, mufflers, Flowmaster, Holley fuel pump, Morse 3-inch tubes Earl hoses. The car's condition is shown in the movie according to the as-portrayed standards. The picture car department did not necessarily build a single automobile to these specs. However, every vehicle designed for a role in the movie was made to look as though it was outfitted with certain features. 1973 Ford Falcon XB GT Coupe, $111,500 cost of car today, from the movie Mad Max. One of my all-time favorites is the original Australian dystopian epic Mad Max, 1979, which starred Mel Gibson as a rogue police officer eradicating hordes of post-apocalyptic motorcyclists. Years ago, before we would go out and race on the street, my buddy Al and I would watch the movie together. At the time, Al had a 1978 Chevy Camaro Z28, and I had a reliable 500 horsepower 971 Boss 351 Mustang. In fact, it turned into something of a cult classic for others as well because of its gritty photography, gripping moments, and tuned-up vehicles. Mel's main ride had to be the star of the show, besides Gibson. Not the 1974 Ford Falcon XB sedan that serves as the yellow interceptor at the start of the movie, but rather his renowned supercharged Pursuit Special, a 1973 Ford XB Falcon GT 351 that he uses to track down Bubba Zanetti, Johnny the Boy, Toe Cutter, and the rest of the Wild Road crew. Fortunately, Mad Max Cars is offering you the chance to acquire your very own Pursuit Special and experience some of that cinematic excitement. That 1973 Ford XB Falcon GT 351 Coupe, shown in the movie, was a model only available in Australia though. It was built from 1973 to 1976 and was based on the well-liked Ford Falcon, but the GT version had a lot more performance enhancements and more aggressive design. Her 351 Cleveland engine, which was particularly constructed in the United States, had 4-wheel disc brakes, a fairing, scoops, and spoilers. Naturally, there were significant cosmetic and functional modifications made to the vehicle featured in the film. The car was painted a special black, had MFP lights and insignia, a rear kicktail, and a Concorde front-end kit installed. However, the mod that stuck in my memory the most was a fake. That's correct. The supercharger that protruded from the hood and ignited upon pressing a button situated on the shifter was broken. But my, did that look fantastic. Some facts you need to know. The V8 Interceptor is without a doubt the greatest vehicle in Mad Max, and the one that has become synonymous with the franchise. It is one of the most well-known movie automobiles ever and is driven by Max in 3 of the 4 films. The vehicle in Mad Max is essentially a 1973 Ford Falcon XB GT Coupe, and is also known as the Pursuit Special. In Road Warrior and Fury Road, the car's actual supercharger was linked to the engine, boosting its power to 600 horsepower. The original vehicle from the first movie featured a phony supercharger. The original model was the fastest automobile in Mad Max with a peak speed of 135 miles per hour, but it's likely that the supercharged version might reach even greater speeds. Thank you for watching to the very end. If you found the video interesting, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel so that you may be alerted when we upload more videos like this.